All right, cool. I'm gonna just jump straight into it. So this call is going to be about accessing the Creator Rewards program and the sort of steps you guys want to take in accessing the program in the US specifically. So what will we be running through in this call? Essentially, we're going to run through why the US CRP is important and the steps involved in setting up your account using a SIM or setting up your TikTok using a SIM. So why is the US CRP important? It's important because before I just jump, I keep going. Can you guys see me flicking through the slides? Because last time I remember the slides weren't working. Yeah, cool. All right. So why is the US CRP important? It's because in general, because you have many different markets, right? You got the UK, you got the US, you got Germany, France, Brazil. All these markets have access to the Creator program. But why is the US program important specifically? It's because there's actually three reasons for this. The first reason is that there's a large population within the US with over 300 million people. There are many people in the region that can watch your videos, right? So it's easier to go viral. The next reason is because it's a consumerist economy. So a lot of people in the US love watching and buying, right? So when it comes to your TikTok videos, a lot of people will engage very well with your videos, and more so than other economies and other markets. And then the last reason is because of the high RPM. With the US, you're not going to find any other market that matches the RPM. You can get $1 and over. So those are the three reasons why you want to be hitting the US CRP or the Creator Rewards program in specific. So even if you're not from a country that is eligible, even if you're from a country that is eligible, like myself, I'm from the UK, but I still choose to post on the US because of these three reasons. And yeah. So jumping on to the next slide, how to access the US CRP using the SIM method. Now I'm specifically going into the SIM method because this method is the one that we push in the Discord server. There are other methods out there, but this method sees the best results. There's methods such as the VPN method, having a US partner, etc. And I ran through these in the last week's call that you guys can access in the server. But in this week, we're just going to run through the US SIM method in specific, and I recommend all you guys use this method if you want to see the best results. So there's actually 4 steps that I'll detail. Step 1 is buying a US SIM, so I'll be detailing where to buy a US SIM, the SIM requirements. Step 2 is preparing your second phone, so you'll need a spare phone for this method, so I'll be running through what kind of phone to use and all the details involved with that. We've got step 3, which is inserting your SIM, so the procedure in setting up your SIM, and step 4 is posting, which is posting on TikTok. So step 1, buying a US SIM. Now you have 2 choices here. You can either use a US physical SIM or you can use a US eSIM. Now both have their advantages and disadvantages. They both work the same way. Now the advantage of using a US physical SIM is that it's the most reliable and safest, I'd say, and with using a US eSIM, it's easy to make mistakes, right? And when you make mistakes, then it can sort of negatively impact your account. So with the US physical SIM, you're going to need to buy a US SIM, right? So I've linked an actual page on Amazon, which you guys can click. I'll share this document as well. You guys can go ahead and look at and buy the SIM that I use and I recommend people using. It's cheap, it's 30 days, and it's refillable. These are the requirements that you really want, right? Now we have the US eSIM method. Now with the US eSIM, it skips the need of wanting a spare phone, because obviously when you're using a physical SIM, right, you'll need another phone. You can't use it in your personal phone, so you'll need another like a burner phone essentially. With using a US eSIM, you can actually download a T-Mobile prepaid US SIM app that I've linked here, and with this app you can sort of generate a SIM for your phone, and you can do it on your actual personal phone because you can switch between SIMs, right? You can have the eSIM active at one point, and then you can switch over to your normal SIM whenever you want. But with this, it's kind of risky because you got two SIMs on your phone, and it's easy because you'll have TikTok installed. It's easy to forget switching between SIMs, and if you open up TikTok, it can put your account at risk. Yes, but I've linked this anyways, and so it's mainly for people that don't have access to a spare phone, right? Because that's the big thing. You'll need a spare phone, and also with the US eSIM, you want to make sure your phone is over is over I think it's iPhone 11 or above, because below iPhone 11 you can't use a virtual eSIM app, and the app will actually tell you that as well. So step 2 is preparing your spare phone. So this step is only involved if you're choosing to go with the physical SIM option, which I do recommend over the eSIM, but again, it's each to their own. So you want to buy or use a spare phone, and you can obviously look on eBay for any used spare phone, or you can ask family and friends for any phones that they have spare they're just lying around that they don't really use. Next, you want to ensure that the phone is factory reset, so it's completely clean, there's nothing on it, right? And I've linked a YouTube video on how to factory reset your phone. The next step you want to do is ensure that the location services is turned off. So as soon as your phone is factory reset, you want to go into settings and turn your location services off. And you don't want to use this phone for any other purposes. It's just a TikTok burner phone that you're going to be posting on. Step 3 is inserting your SIM. So you want to insert your SIM straight after you perform the factory reset, and you want to follow the instructions that the SIM provider has given you to the T, right? So it leaves no room for error. You want to follow exactly what they say. And a lot of these, and the SIM I actually provided has a whole guide that you can follow when installing your SIM. And same with the eSIM, an eSIM will have a whole guide that you can follow as well. Step 4 is posting. So when it comes to posting, once the SIM is installed and you download TikTok, you want to first download TikTok, your audience will now be the US, and any accounts that you create now will be US accounts. So you can create an unlimited amount of US accounts for yourself instead of purchasing them. And you also want to make sure that you're using your local Wi-Fi to post, because I know a lot of people say when using a US SIM, they'll ask me, do I have to use my own Wi-Fi or do I have to use the SIM's Wi-Fi, SIM's data? And the answer is you want to use your local Wi-Fi. It doesn't really matter that you're connected from a Wi-Fi from a different country. It's just a SIM that's important. As long as your SIM is installed, you'll be okay. So you don't need to use your SIM's Wi-Fi. And this is because it'll run out pretty quick. And that's pretty much it. That's the presentation detailing how to use a US SIM. So do we have any questions?